ever noticed that our mind is generally always busy in observing something? Right now, for example, I'm pretty sure you are looking at it, you are listening to what I'm saying, and you are also observing what's going on in the background there. Right? Those clouds are moving. Knowingly, unknowingly, we observe. If there are two people talking, having conversation next to you, and even if you are not part of it, what happens naturally? We listen to their conversation and we kind of internally observe what that person is saying, what the other one is saying, what the situation is, and we try to create some judgments, some opinions internally, knowingly, unknowingly. Well, the problem is not observation, but the problem is where our focus is. Because if my mind is not in my control, what I'm listening, what I'm seeing is not in my control, then whatever I'm seeing and whatever I'm listening is impacting me, impacting my stage, impacting my feelings, impacting impacting how I should react, right? Impacting my decisions. And that's not really something that someone would like, right? I mean, at least I would definitely like to have that control of my own self in my hand, right? If I am letting other situations and other things happening around me affect my stage and how do I feel, then I am really not king in that situation. I'm really not boss, and I am letting other things control me. So what we look at now is what I would say a practice or a tool, spiritual practice that I like to do, and it is something called as self-observation. And what does that mean? Well, one thing is observation, meaning what we just looked at, some of the examples, meaning getting involved in something while I observe it. But there is also something called as detached observer, meaning I observe, but from that high view, from that top view, and I observe, but I don't necessarily have any opinion or judgment about anything. So when I say self-observation, first of all, what that self is, who that self is. And at this moment, you might say, well, I know who that self is. That's me, myself. Yes, but who that is exactly? Like this person, this body, or the being that is behind this body, inside this body. And that is the spiritual being, the beautiful being of light, which is eternal, meaning there is no beginning or end to that true self, the being of light, what we call it as soul. And that soul is my true self, and that is sitting in this body. Right now, you are a soul. I am a soul. And we souls, we use this body to take actions, to see, to talk, and what we call in a spiritual language that we souls, we play our role, we play our part using this body. So now, self-observation means observing my own self, that being of light. And what does that mean? So the being of light, and do you know where mind exists really? There always is a confusion where mind is. I can't see mind, right? That's invisible. Similarly, the soul is invisible. I can't see that. The being of light is invisible. I can't see it with these eyes. It's from a different dimension. But soul has mind and intellect. Now, this mind is creating thoughts all the time. And if you really want to observe what goes on in mind, really, sit down peacefully for 2 minutes and just try and observe your thoughts. And when you observe, you need to observe them just like these clouds. Like the thought comes and it goes, thought comes and it goes. And that is what we call it as a self-observation or a detached observation of self. And when I say detached, meaning I don't have any opinion about it. I don't have any judgment about it. And so how that helps me? Well, one thing is, say for example, I am, even right now, I am talking to you, but now my whole focus is on myself, right? What thoughts I am creating around this topic, and then I am talking using this mouth. And that is my self-observation. My focus is on myself. But if my focus right now is on all of you, and if my focus is on, okay, there are some noises going on around, my focus is on, okay, what you people are thinking about this talk, or what you people will you be able to understand, or what will you feel about this? If my focus is on you, if my focus is on something else, then what will happen? I won't be able to create those thoughts that are necessary here for this topic. And then I would create these feelings of kind of like subtle fear, little irritation about noise. And I won't be talking from that 100% presence here. And now I'm giving my example, but you would have noticed, right? If you need to talk in front of so many people in a meeting you are, or in a group or wherever, if your focus is not on self, and if you are thinking about all sorts of things, then you are not 100% present out there. And so while walking and moving around, what we try to do is we focus on ourselves. We observe ourselves. What are my feelings that I am creating? What are thoughts that are going on? And even say some situation happens, someone says something to you, or you are in a group of few people, some situation happens, and there is always this eagerness to give our opinion, to give our suggestion to someone. But first, focus on yourself. Even in that situation, even while talking to people. In the sense, what are those thoughts going on? Am I being a detached observer here? And it's not about others, it's about my own self. Am I looking at my own self? Because unless and until you are detached from your own feelings and thoughts, then you cannot help yourself and you cannot help others. I hope you are able to understand what I'm talking here. But anytime during the day, whatever actions we take, whatever we do, what is in our control really? Is there any situation out there in our control? Other people are in our control? Or it's my own self is in my control? My own self, right? And so, as we shift our perspective, as we start taking care of yourself more, ourselves more, then we see that our reactions towards situations, our responses to other people, they shift. And all in all, like, our courage increases, our performance increases, our confidence increases. So what we will do now is, I will encourage you to learn a little bit more about this self-observation. But right now, we will do meditation for a few minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And let's understand what this self-observation means. Sit very comfortably. Take one deep breath. And just observe right now things that are around you. There may be computer screen, a mobile screen, chair, table, lamp, or you are even looking outside the window. Just observe, okay? We are not passing any opinion, but just observing. Observe this body. And who is observing all this is my true self. The tiny point of light at the center of my forehead, behind the eyes. Sitting in this body, the real self, the beautiful star, is invisible to these eyes. But with the eye of a mind, I can visualize this image of a tiny little star sitting in this body, and who is observing, who is making sense of these words, is this true self. The one who is a peaceful being of light. Loveful, happy being of light. The one who doesn't need anything to be happy, to be peaceful. And so I, the soul, when I am in this awareness, then I am totally focusing on my own self. When I am in a situation, taking actions, walking and moving around, I try to get back to this awareness of true self. And that helps me in observing this self. What is going on in the mind? What kind of thoughts I am creating? What kind of feelings I am creating? And if there are any other feelings, then peace, happiness, joy, and love and mercy for others, then I remind myself who I am. Is this peaceful, happy, and loveful being of light. From this position, I observe thoughts and feelings that are going like clouds. They pass, they come and go. I don't need to get involved in it. I don't need to entertain those thoughts and feelings, opinions about others. But I get back to this awareness. And then from this awareness, I respond to any situation or any person in front of me. And that is a space, that is a clean space. From which I can respond, and at the same time, I do not let anything else or anyone else affect my feelings and thoughts. I hope you got a glimpse of what it means to observe ourselves. Try and experiment with this as much as you can. Thank you.